Hello, everyone, and welcome to VYTALCast number 88. Here we got Cal and Hunter joining us, and we're going to be talking about, uh, that totally day off that they had. Like,
At episode.
yeah.
Don't you always hate that where it's just like, oh, school's over, no work, day off, and then, your friend is framed for the murder of a dozen people? Honestly,
Oh,
all been
very
there.
awkward.
It's happened the last 3 spring breaks, actually. It's more common than you think. I, gosh, I knew beforehand that, like, the day off was going to be, like, the day something happens. I was like, nope, all good things end, and it's always on the day off. So
They're in a tundra, so they're not going to have a beach episode. Like, we're not their bikinis, and they're not going to go and,
There
like,
was
go
the shopping,
crabbing.
though. That was the hope. Was like, oh, we're going to have a shopping montage, and everybody's going to be in fur coats or...
yeah.
No. We're in Act 2, guys. Like, shit.
Yeah, we're in Act 2. How do you feel about, like, what they did with the costume change? Because some people are okay with it, some people aren't.
I have grown to like it. I still wish for the shopping montage, but I think Miles was talking on fan...
Yeah, it was fan service.
Or something, and basically what he was saying was, like, sometimes the fan expectations are very different from what the writers are thinking, and he was like, everybody's talking about a shopping montage. Why the fuck? Obviously, Miles did not say why the fuck, but he was like, why the fuck do they think they're getting a shopping montage? He was, like, really, like, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, we have certain expectations, or even, like, he didn't mention this specifically, but it's like, the Atlas ball. It's been, like, 4 volumes, and people think that we're getting the ball, because, it makes sense,
I
like that.
Why people are thinking there's going to be an Atlas ball. Where did that come from?
I think it's just, like, Weiss and her dad, like, they had a party, so when they go to Atlas, there will be a party. These will dance. Like, that was sort of the idea. But now there is no dancing. There is just destruction.
I will say that is part of where, like, I got the idea. I mean, not so much, but it honestly, like, fell off the radar for me for a while. And then Level Up Expo earlier this year, and I believe it was Aaron that brought it up.
Yeah. Aaron likes to stuff like that.
Aaron is the Tom Holland of RWBY. We all know, if we want to know spoilers ahead of time, we ask a question to her that gets her excited, but won't think that it's a spoiler at first, and then she'll spill the beans. So also, the chat. Hello, everyone. Mr. Oates, I think you're a new face. Hello. And we got Lee Stays Dabbing, and then we got Brandon Dodge, we got Inspector Who. But yeah, anyway, I agree with Arnold, because, like, Arnold was the one that brought the tweet to me last week, and so the one that Miles said.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was on the fan service podcast. I'm not sure if he made, like, a...
No, like, Arnold came to me, he's like, hey, Miles said this on fan service, like, what do you think? And I was like, oh yeah, I agree with Miles, and, like, Arnold asked me a few questions like, oh, if this doesn't happen in the show, how would you feel? And I'm like, like, as long as, like, the show achieves what I think that the thing I wanted achieved would have achieved, then I'm okay with it, Like,
yeah,
I think
looking at the chat, I'm pretty sure that now she did mean the dance club. Now that we have context and the dance emojis, like, it makes, in hindsight, it makes sense, and we're probably gonna see a little dancing next episode.
And I believe, like, Aaron and all of them have all admitted, like, they only see, like, their parts of the scripts. So to see, like, oh, they dance together or something, she's like, oh, might be a ball. And like, the 2 and 2 come together. Yeah. Do you think we're actually gonna see that dance, or are we just gonna see Blake and Yang leaving the dance?
I think that what I would like personally is just, I want, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, the camera, like, cuts to Jean, Weiss, and Oscar watching the movie, and they're all watching the movie and enjoying the movie, and all you can hear outside is screams and, like, noises, but they can't hear because like they're in the movie obviously,
Yeah.
and like they're on silent, so they can't hear the ringing. Trying to call not work. So I just
Yeah.
want them to be the audience knows, but they're fucking oblivious. And so I would
I
like
think
like
that's
Blake.
called dramatic irony.
Yeah, exactly. I would like and Yang to sort of be dancing, right? And then we hear the Grim attacking outside, and eventually, like, I'm sure there's some sort of Grim alarm where, like, okay, well, the movie would stop, and people would go to, like, something like that, and Yang and Blake would walk outside, like, what?
Imagine the movie ends, and Weiss is like, okay, we can go, and then John's like, no, post-credit scene. Murder riots outside that they could be helping with, but it's like the scrolls. It's like, this is boring, guys. I don't understand why we have to. No. They tell you stuff at the end of the movie, but it's the end of the movie. No. We can tell.
Yeah,
you.
Has Weiss even ever? I mean, like, I'm not gonna say he's never seen a movie, but it sounds like more like ballet and plays and sort of the arts, like from the higher. You understand the high art. Like, has she even? Does she know what a post-credit scene is? Like,
I think if anything, she's only seen like the private screenings, like the world premieres and stuff. She's never seen like in a public theater, you know. I could see her being
from this movie are really realistic.
Yeah. Also, with like to build off a Hunter's comment, like should the movie be made by like Marvelous Studios or something like that? He's like, no, it's a Marvelous Studios movie. You never skip the walk out of the credits.
Bruce Willis movies before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could just be like he finally gets Weiss to go see a Bruce Willis movie with him.
I would cry. Like,
you know, it took a couple years, but we got her.
Yeah.
Took getting stabbed, saving her from the said stab
multiple
wound.
Other things.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Brought something interesting up. They said, speaking of Weiss, did she vote? Surely she's an Atlas citizen, so she would have the right. Like, that's interesting.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Or
is she old enough? She's 17.
Is she?
She's like 18.
Yeah,
you have 18 to vote in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, same in the U.S.
She's also a felon, so I don't know if she can vote.
Well,
Seeing as she's done multiple illegal things, I don't know if they have felon.
It's on her permanent record, so she can't vote.
Yeah. You can vote with like a significant like.
Maybe she did, but we didn't see it.
Yeah. Maybe it happened off screen. They're like, we all know she didn't vote for her father, so like, we don't need to show it on screen, you know. She just like deleted scene. Weiss walks up. She's like, as long as it's not him, just like hits it, walks away. Yeah. And Inspector Who's asking, like, I wonder if the Huntsman can vote. So.
Yeah, I mean, they probably can't anymore because they don't have they don't have the connected towers, but I imagine in the past, like, if you could get on a computer, you could electronically vote, like, if you're an Atlas Huntsman stationed in Vacuo or something, right? Like,
well,
do that before the towers went down, because now they have no connections.
Yeah, the votes must be electronic. That's how Watts
did the thing. Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's why maybe a paper ballot is a little effective, but
yeah, because all the polling stations are electronic.
Yeah. Verif and Lee are like, she voted for Ivy Brown, which I actually made a joke during my reaction, which is still blocked, that like Ivy Brown is the only valid candidate, because we haven't seen what she said, but yeah. I don't know. I want to know her story. It's probably not important.
Is that with the voting? Is that it was like when you add the percentage of votes for Robin and Jacques, it becomes 100%, meaning that nobody voted.
Not even Ivy voted herself. Like.
Yeah, she didn't even vote for herself, or it was so small, it didn't even like become important that it even gets like a single point. Between those two people.
Poor Ivy. Just shoved under the rug. I bet she's only 2D art. Yeah. She doesn't even have a 3D model. It's just 2D.
Be about.
Yeah. I don't want to like talk too much specifics other than like, you know, Watts's whole interaction. Like, do we think he skewed it a bit, or do you think those votes are genuine by any means.
And he started
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Especially when it like so drastically started scoring up.
Yeah, to be honest, I think 60 to 40 was probably like no vote. Like that was the realistic one where Robin was 60 to 40, because at least then it's still close. But then Watts was like, "Well, can't have that." He made Jock win after that point,
Yeah,
I think.
and it ended at like 52 to 48, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which is like just realistic head to head, but like just out of the range to like demand a recall for the votes.
Yeah.
So it's like that's clever,
Yeah.
you know, like if it was like any closer, I think they would have demanded like a recount or even like everyone going back to vote.
Yeah.
Which, not that recount and democracies aren't terribly interesting television. It doesn't necessarily strike me as particularly anime.
Yeah, but
So I guess
think about the riots that caused the recount.
yeah. Actually, I take that back. It could have been interesting, but
Yeah.
maybe they've definitely got a place they're going, and I don't think it involves like a, I don't know, 2001 Florida recount, but anime.
Florida man, he tipped the scales just enough. Would Tyrion be the Florida man? Like he killed off enough of the voters for the revote to like.
Oh.
Sorry, like he's like, all right, they're all gathered in one place. Watts hit the lights. Yeah,
He would be the Florida man if he was a crocodile faunus.
Yeah,
He's
he's Arizona man if he's a scorpion.
He's Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Like, okay, sorry, I'm looking back at the thing. I loved how slowly this started to climb. Actually, something I noticed during my reaction was, I think it was while they were backstage, or someone had a scroll out, and it showed Jacques' number ahead, but then, like, when it went back to them on, to, like, I think it was Fiona on stage, the number was back to where it was. It was like a weird, like, hey, this is where it's at, and then random scroll while they're backstage shows completely different numbers, and then it's back to the normal numbers on stage. Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, we got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that it was like it definitely was a tension thing. I think that the chat is right. It just like to see it climbing, because every time it looked back at that camera, Hunter and I were like, oh no, like it's getting closer and closer, just a little.
Of all the things that got gasps in that episode, like the Rhenoricus and obviously the massacre and the dancing and a lot of the cute moments, just the numbers increasing. I've never gasped so dangerously at just numbers, how they were able to make something so benign, so intense.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing that tomorrow if you guys are unblocked. Are you?
Yeah, we talked about this on Boopcast a little bit, but like Hunter and I gotten any copyright claims since like the end of Volume 5. So I don't know what's going on with everybody else, but like not even like not blocked, not claimed, not like they're not monetization. So it's like you guys, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I had something happen earlier this week, so like I just finally uploaded my Chapter 5 reaction. It got claimed, but it was never blocked, which I'm like, why can't they just do this? Why can't they just claim and not block? But I could understand if they're trying to like catch people just uploading the episode itself, and that's why they do the block first. But yeah. YouTube's weird.
I wonder if I don't know, to what degree is there like a black market Ruby cutting through Rooster Teeth first thing on YouTube?
I doubt. There happens sometimes people that have uploaded the episode raw, if that you know what I mean. But I think people will just go to pirate sites. They know that YouTube has the
copyright
will
system.
stop.
Yeah, there was.
What
Go, Hunter.
Oh no, it's just what I do find interesting is that this is totally unrelated, but both YouTube has still you can buy on YouTube's built-in system Volume 1, 2, and 3 of Ruby. Though Volume 1, 2, and 3 in Ruby, built sewed together as one movie, is available for free on Rooster Teeth, and they're even fan-released versions, like not official releases, fan-released.
Animation has done that too.
Yeah,
but you can still pay for
it's just fascinating, like the gray areas of RWBY on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because honestly, like, I totally forgot about the Rooster Teeth animation YouTube channel, and when people were like, "Oh yeah, they're re-uploading like the entire volumes in the movie form," I'm like, "Oh, I mean that's the better watching experience," but I totally forgot about the YouTube channel.
That's how I initially watched RWBY back in the day. Is that they released volume 1 and 2 on Netflix
as a movie.
As a movie,
Yeah.
So that's when I watched RWBY. It was before volume 3, just after volume 2 was released in that format. So I really enjoy going back to it and watching it like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like volumes 1 and 2. That's like my preferred way of watching, just because of they're basically like a short movie. And then you hit volumes 3 onward, and it's like, yeah, this is really long. It's like
this is like Lord of the Rings expanded edition length.
That was literally what I was about to say. But it was like, yeah. So now it's like, okay, well, volume 5 flows better in its movie format, but like at some point, I gotta hit pause, take a bathroom break, eat, stretch my legs, then get back to it. But yeah. Anyway, back to... I started using the mouse on my MacBook, and I was looking at my PC monitor, and... Okay.
Why is it...
Yeah, I was just like, why isn't my mouse moving? Oh, wrong device. Okay, so I'm gonna put Robin up on screen, because she's beautiful. But yeah.
Uh-oh, this is buffering for me. Are we okay?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could always describe... It's like when it's during the voting scene and like it's her on the news. There's Mantle Daily and all that. I'll go a few slides over. Oh yeah, what do you think of Mini Night?
Sorry?
Mini Night, or like Weiss's night being miniature?
Yeah,
that
that
was dirty. I love that so much. Like that was a dirty trick, Weiss. Like Winter did not approve.
Oh yeah.
Fits her.
Dude, Winter,
it was great.
Like, if like people could see it, like Winter's face during this screenshot is furious. Like she's mad, like mad that 1, Weiss bested her. 2, Weiss is fighting without honor, and yeah, it's just
it's like, who have you been with, Weiss, that you learn like you attack with an armored munchkin, and I do so gracelessly.
Yeah. I knew that team was a bad influence on her. Look at this.
Fun to see everyone working on their semblances, though. Like, I think, I don't know what Yang's doing, but, like, Blake is using her shadow clones, Ruby's doing her twisty thing, and Red's trying to...
Yes, it splits into 3. I was thrown off by that initially.
Yeah, I mean, that threw me off in the Volume 4 character trailer for her. Like, when she, like, goes up in the air and then splits into 2 and does, like, the DNA spiral, and then...
Yeah, because that's when we first saw it, was that trailer. And it was sort of brought up sometimes, but also never again.
Yeah. Everyone's like, what was that? What was that? Yeah, it was... That was my first RTX, too. Like, I really enjoyed that. Also, I want to say hi to That's Canny in the chat. Oh, and Inspector Who's wanting, like, an army of Tiny Knights. I don't think she could make more than 1, no matter the size.
I think Winter does.
Yeah, Winter has multiple Beowulfs.
Well, so...
But in the past, the Weiss trailer, in the second Weiss trailer, for Volume 5...
Right, because she summons all those for Weiss to train.
Yeah, but... So
like, we could have a pack.
Oh my god.
I wonder if she has to kill another knight to do it, though. Or is it just, like, an enemy you fought?
Yeah. I wonder if Winter's just killed so many Beowulfs you could spread them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we know, like, Ruby, just from the red trailer, has, like, if she had the same semblance. So, like, that's kind of what I've been thinking, is like, oh, Weiss has only summoned 1 because she's only fought and killed 1. And
yeah.
I don't know. Like, sometimes my brain just, like, makes assumptions, and then, like, I just go, yeah, that makes logical sense. And I could totally be wrong.
Do like 1,000 nights. It makes sense that you would have to do.
It makes
You know,
logical sense because
you know.
nothing says logical like slaying a ghost knight
Oh my
in the approval of your father, so you can go fight at a
Oh
school
my
that
god,
trains
imagine
you.
in volumes 8 or like whatever down the line, like
Mm.
Weiss has to fight another armored knight, but this time she does it with Team Ruby. Like
Aw.
that'd be nice.
and then like someone's about to get a killing shot, and she's like, no, I have to do final blow. I have to summon more. Stop. The knight's like, just like, finish me, please. Ah.
Like,
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
what enemy would you like to see return?
What
Like
do you-
Me?
of the Grim. Which one do you think? Yeah, one more go.
I would love to see, you know, that Grim that Sun and Blake fight in Volume 4? I would love to see that one come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, if they ever go back to the ocean, please summon more than one. I would love to see that.
Mhm.
Because it did, like, electricity and stuff, you know? I'm just like, ooh, that was cool. All the other Grim? No electricity. Boring. I'm kidding.
Not even Fish Grim.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, and some people are asking about the kaiju Grim. That'd be a good one. Although the dragon one, you know, I like to see that as well.
The
Yeah.
Wyvern.
The Wyvern.
Wyvern.
They used to call it the dragon, but then they realized that it doesn't have like wings and 4 legs, and so I guess it's the Wyvern. So then they switched and started calling it the Grim Wyvern.
Specifics.
What's his name? They named him. I don't know.
They named the
Named
Grim.
the dragon, the big
Yeah,
dragon. That's
Lee in the chat knows the name because I believe she said the name, or was it Xiaolong? Someone
And
in the
they
last
named
two said. Kevin.
the-
Yeah, it's Kevin.
Yeah, it's
I almost
Kevin. They
said
named
Kyle.
the one from volume.
Volume 6.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
named it.
The
Bubbles.
Bubbles!
Everyone was calling it. Elf.
Yeah.
I called it me
Bubbles.
in a very narrow.
Yeah.
I think that crew called it something. I don't remember.
Bubbles sounds excellent.
Yeah, Lenny. Lenny sounds familiar.
I was calling it Lenny, but they were like, it's Bubbles. Actually, I don't know. There was just something.
We have
that
a
I
different
to look at.
ridiculous name for
Yeah.
the Grim.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see like a Geist Grim possess a boat, and we could call it Bodie McBoatface. But
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah, to internet throwback. Also like Jean being able to regenerate his aura, which is kind of like the screenshot I have up.
That.
What do you guys? Is that a Jean thing? Is that
I have a lot of feelings about this.
okay? Let it out.
You know those portable like batteries?
Oh no.
Yes.
Batteries plug your phone in.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you plug that you would plug into your phone back into the battery, it starts charging itself. And I'm like, I think in the reaction I tried to explain this to you, Cal, but you're like, Hunter, please shut up, more interesting things are happening. I'm like, that's what John is. John is he's able to somehow like recharges. I guess he just has a reserve of aura he isn't normally able to
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
get
it's like
to.
as like the first. Let's just say the first layer of aura, and that's 100%.
Yes.
But his semblance access a second layer that is also 100%, and he just brings it up into himself. Like that's how I would describe
Okay.
it. I
Kira
guess.
said-
Like he has his own separate like aura facility.
Yeah, it's like a gas tank, right? Like instead of like most people just have one. John has 2, and some of the gas just goes back in the primary tank. That's how I would.
Yeah, he's like, I need me now. Yeah. He's like, treat yourself. Get yourself more
That was-
aura.
He's really, as he's gotten more sexy, he has become inexhaustibly more powerful.
That's what his like new hair spikes are for. They're aura banks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Banana.
And then when like someone else needs aura, he just takes one out and gives it to them.
Eat this. Like that's your banana. Like,
Yeah,
no, no,
he's
no,
like All Might, but aura. He's like, eat this. Like, yeah. Okay. Also, I love the thumbs up he gives after Nora pats him on the back. It's
And then his Nora goes down a little more after he hits him.
Yeah, yeah, Nora just patting him on the back and shocking him did more damage than her slamming a ball and having it hit him. Like,
Nora's strong.
Nora doesn't know her strength, or Jean's a bit of a glass cannon.
Maybe he just has a weak back and the rest of
He
it.
just has a
yeah,
weak back.
it's like Halo. You back smack Jean and he's down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are really connected this
Me and David.
Yeah. We share one brain cell and it's rapidly going back between Canada and the
Yeah.
US.
It's on that border.
Yeah. Also, like, Brandon Dodge is asking, what if Geist possessed Penny? Could it?
No.
Could it? Because she has an aura, has a soul.
Guys, objects though. The
But she's
robot
not-
body
but
is
she-
an object.
Yeah, but she has a soul.
Well, if you take if you take her like hard drive or whatever out, then yes, it could possess Penny, but you have to take Penny out of Penny.
What about
Like a penny
here's
up the penny.
a better idea? What about Ironwood's body? Because he has a soul, yes, but his body isn't a part of his. I mean,
Yeah,
Why
like
you're
the
hitting-
cyborg part. Yeah. Yeah, like stop hitting yourself, Ironwood. Yeah.
because aura is supposed to aura covers Yang's new arm, right?
Mhm.
And so your
Mhm.
aura soul is still here and his metal is here.
Mhm.
And so it's not like where that is Penny's body. Like this is like I don't know, it's just object. It's still just object. So what if
Mhm.
Ironwood gets on his legs or something like that? It's way more mechanical than Penny. That's what I would argue.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing for a Geist to get into? Because like a paladin would be pretty interesting for a fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Wow. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or maybe
Or a toilet even. Why? I was like, but you can't lead the toilet, Hunter.
But I
Think of
you
mean-
something.
can't leave the toilet.
All objects, right? So
Yeah, like yeah.
Could it possess a scroll?
that's
Oh,
disturbing.
wow.
I don't
Just
like
like
this.
leak all your secret pictures or internet history from your
Oh my God,
scroll.
honey, it wasn't me who leaked your nudes. It was the Geist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a photo of Ren on the screen.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I accidentally switched to that, but it's like, yeah, Ren, and like, what do you
was
think
that?
a poor good boy is stressed about? There's been one theory, and Cal seems to be excited to say something.
Here's the thing, okay? Twice now, Ren has done the danger face
Mm-hmm.
whenever Chloe has been around. Okay?
Yeah.
And like, I were supposed to, before my computer exploded, we were supposed to do a video like weighing the not pros and cons, but like,
The
is Clover the
possibilities.
traitor or is Marrow the traitor, right? And we were gonna do that. And it's like, Ren has sensed sketchiness from Clover twice. At least that's what I think it is. Like,
Yeah,
that's when
and
he's sort of like,
Marrow was already in the room before then, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of
mean-
knocks Marrow out.
Yeah, and Marrow looked concerned about what was happening. Like, I don't buy that he's evil.
Yeah,
I
because
think
it was
he's kinda
only
dumb.
Clover and
Yeah.
Ironwood. And last time it was Clover and the Aesop. So we know it's not Ironwood. The common
Mhm.
denominator
Is
Clover.
that's some good detective work. Like, good job. Bravo. Yeah, but
Arrow, but
I
Ren
just don't like the dog boy.
feels something about him. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I trust Ren on this one. I feel like that what's stressing Ren out really is like I feel like it's a couple things, but
Mhm.
one of them is like he wants to sort of be vulnerable and like he wants to love Nora, but then that opens himself up to getting hurt if something happens to either of them, and he just doesn't want to open up to those feelings, and that's one. But
hashtag
two,
relatable. Okay.
I sense this sketchy shit from the Aesops, and I
Mhm.
can't tell anyone because they just seem so nice and so cool. But you know, we don't know who's listening. Now, like I feel like
Yeah.
Ren maybe like I feel something bad about these people.
Yeah, and
you
he
know,
also doesn't want like his own team and Team Ruby to be like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, of course Clover's a nice guy. Yeah.
'Cause I think they accepted the Aesops by now, and so if he tells anyone, it's just sort of like he'll get maybe written off.
Although of all the Aesop, interesting that we see the most. It feels like we see the most of Marrow.
Yeah.
Where like Marrow, but like I also kind of want more of Harriet and like big babushka swinger lady.
Yeah, Elm.
And
Yeah.
Vine.
Elm and Vine. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Vine.
Clove-
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm like a little surprised that Harriet was like, out of all the Aesops, was the one that was like, oh, we're not friends, we're just like professional co-workers.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that was red herring almost, just because it's like, oh, see, Clover's the one who's like nice and wants to be friends with Crow and everyone,
Mhm.
but Harriet's the asshole. Like, I thought that's maybe going
Yeah.
for. And then episode, like, Marrow seems a little sketchy. Like, it's all just to drive us off the path of Clover. I don't
Maybe.
know.
But then again, I really don't buy that Marrow is sketchy. Like, he seems, unless he's
Well,
like,
yeah, but other people do that.
I
They're
guess
trying
that's
to lead
true.
the
Yeah,
fandom
yeah.
astray.
Lead
makes
the
sense.
fandom. Don't follow the false dog boy idols. They lead you nothing but falsehoods and broken dreams.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so like Brandon Dodge is saying, Clover seems too obvious as well.
That's true.
I would say, like, because of his conversations with Crow, that kind of makes him a little obvious. But at the same time, I'm also like, I think he's not as obvious because you almost want to trust that he's a good guy because he's so friendly. But then it's
And
also
he-
what makes you suspicious in the first place.
Yeah, because like your niece has really something special. That was so
Uh.
sketchy when I paused the reaction and I was like, Hunter, no, like something is not
Yeah.
no,
It's like, she's underage, stay away, Clover. Bad man.
no.
Bad. No. Sorry.
We thought he was a run-of-the-mill terrorist. We didn't think he was a pedophile.
Like,
Yeah.
by demonetization. Big rip to David.
Yeah.
Not my
Not like I'm making money off of this show anyways.
We do it for the love.
Yeah. Inspector Who's like, plot twist, there is no traitor. They're just super loyal to Ironwood. Yeah.
I know someone also mentioned Vine and the other one,
Elm?
like for the traitor to be someone that we haven't seen, but I feel like that's such a cop out. Like
Yeah.
there's no foreshadowing in that, not really, and so it'd feel kind of cheap if they were like, it was Elm all along, and it's like we have the whole time. So
It'd be
what?
hard-
Like, the-
I would be heartbroken if it was Elm. I would trust Elm with my life. I would
Yeah.
trust Elm with my children.
His arms are just so supportive.
I just, yeah. Vine and Elm, both of them. I feel
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah, I trust Big Buff Lady to
Yeah,
keep
that,
me.
yeah. To
Yeah.
keep me warm. And
like,
I that's the thing. Like Scorpia,
Mhm.
Buff Lady here.
Mhm.
These are the only two examples I can think of for whatever
Probably
reason.
My Hero Academia, we
Presumably
don't
there's
know.
buff women in various other media formats. I just trust them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
like Zarya from Overwatch, like I trust her too.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
trust her. I'm very enthusiastic about them.
All right. So the next slide is, oh yeah, it's just the team being like, oh, we're getting a day off, and like Yang is just kind of like leaning on Oscar, putting all her weight on him. And everyone but Blake is looking at Yang. That's what I've noticed in that screenshot. Blake is just like staring forward, like, I'm pretending I don't see this. Contain any sort of like jealousy. Not that
I mean,
Blake
I
would be.
jealous of Oscar.
Of Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar don't, okay?
I feel like at this point it's like Oscar is basically the little brother of the
Mhm.
group. I
Yeah.
feel like oh, we're gonna go to the movies together, and that makes me happy because Jean had 7 fucking sisters. All right, isn't it? Jean gets a little brother to hang out with, like that's
So
just
friends
happy,
finally
you
in
know
his
what I'm
life.
saying?
It's him and John and everyone else is women in his life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hanging out with Neptune.
He
like,
would
let's
be.
be real
He would be.
here.
I'm sure he's glad that he can like have a little brother that he always wanted. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we all know from like
Mhm.
volume 2 he tried to connect with Ren in like the bro way, but Ren was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just want my clothes. I'm in a bathrobe. This is bad timing, dude. Yeah.
I think it's like John wants the little brother he never had in Oscar, and then Weiss wants the little brother she wishes that she could have in Oscar. Yeah, so that is about that.
Also, there's like this weird vibe that I kind of had. Like, I think it might have been you that tweeted it. It might have been a different Ruby tuber. It might have been a joke I made. I mean, I know I made the joke at some point, but like, this is the closest Jean has gotten to a date with Weiss. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I could get to the slide, where is it? There it is. I'll get back to the other slides, but you know, just like their reactions, I think they're pure. But Jean, I don't know, like Jean kind of has like a weird bashful look, kind of like, oh, yeah. Weiss was the one that said yes to the movie.
I tweeted that and Oscar's like this, and then he's like this.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Oscar is gonna be like the little brother wingman, you know, like
maybe.
They're like, you brought your sibling to our date. Well, yeah, and then like the siblings pulling all the moves you can't to like help nudge it forward. Yeah.
Help.
This all lulled us into a false sense of security. Okay, like we knew shit was gonna go down. But I feel like we all temporarily forgot because we were like, this is so pure, this is so cute, look at his face, and then we just got, then the Renora kid, like,
and
we
then
just got
Fiona.
Yeah, Fiona. Yeah. I legit, like, while I was, like, screenshotting stuff, it was, like, at the screenshot with Fiona and Robin, that I just started tearing up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to tweet VYTALCast, but I'm crying. But, yeah.
They're so beautiful. I would die for Fiona. I genuinely, it's like on the levels of adorable character design. I can't think of something.
Hold on, I'm trying to. Apparently, OBS did not get the screenshots of Fiona in them, so let me just make a second slideshow layer and add the second half of the slides.
I like how we have a little PowerPoint. I think that's great.
Yeah. I got the idea from Arnold and Xiaolong, because, like, they both have, like, slideshows or, like, have screenshots.
But we have, like, 1,000 screenshots because we're crazy. I don't...
It's pretty aggressive on our part.
A little bit. And now they're all... they're on an external hard drive, but, like, functionally...
Lost in time, like tears in the rain.
I mean, or, like, battery acid spilling all over your GPU.
Oh... Yeah, is that what happened with your motherboard?
That's just what I'm assuming. We don't know it was either the liquid cooling pump or it was battery acid, but liquid cooling's usually clear and this was brown.
Oh, so that's battery acid. Yeah.
Not
pretty bad.
Hold on. Where is... No, don't be automatic. Only hotkey. Would this work? Oh, cool. My hotkeys only work for one slideshow. Now I have to make new hotkeys. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. Keep talking.
Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked with the computer, but they had the audacity to be like, well, it looks brown, so did you spill coffee on it? And I felt like I wanted to strangle them. I was like, how the fuck? You guys have seen the pictures.
Drink
it's all
coffee with my head inside my computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck do you think madman I am?
But yeah, I mean, oh boy. But yeah, that scene was so cute. I'm glad that Blake, like, did her makeup. Like, I thought that was actually nice just because, like, she has, like, winged eyeliner every day, and we've never seen anyone do their makeup before. So I kind of like that. Like, that was a nice little...
Which is weird because she had winged eyeliner even when she was in the White Fang. That's like if, like, members of all had, like, mascara.
Listen, all right? You keep to the look. You keep you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also, like, who knows? Maybe she stole it from the Schnee Dust Company. Like, someone had eyeliner on the train. I don't know.
Yeah. Cosmetics and also weapons. Exactly. It's just they have it all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blake was so cute.
I
was really cute.
Like, some people don't like Blake's new hair, but, like, honestly, I think this is her best look. Like, I adore Blake. But
also her alternate
her alternate outfit was pretty but it worked. It was just a white blouse and like black.
Also, like, what do you think of like the whole Renora fighting and bickering before the whole kiss? Like, I don't know.
It works.
Yeah, it works, but part of me is
I
also
think it
like,
makes sense.
yeah, I agree it makes sense, but part of me is like, please don't make them like. I hope from this point forward they're no longer gonna like bicker and fight like they did in this episode, because I just don't want them to become like a somehow toxic couple and break up or something. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I think it will be that like Ren or Nora might feel guilty that they were too busy, like swapping spit, and they weren't able to stop the assassination.
Yeah.
Like maybe they might get guilty on that because they were kind of delayed.
Because I understand. I guess like the bickering is basically the accumulation of like 3 years of feelings that nobody's talked about.
Yeah.
And so I understand. I don't be like super like I don't think Ren's like, because people are saying like Ren's been an asshole, but I don't think he's necessarily gonna get to the point where it's like, wow, this is kind of weirdly abusive. No.
Ren, good boy.
Yeah.
He would never.
I feel like what is gonna happen though is that obviously they were fighting and Ren had this sort of like like, oh, we should train more. We've trained enough, like all that. And so I feel like either two things. Like after this episode, he is going to sort of feel guilty and like, I was right, something bad was gonna happen, like this was all a mistake. Nora's just gonna be sort of like heartbroken about it. Like I feel like it was canon for like 5 minutes and now it's going down. Or what I was gonna talk about this in another video we didn't get to record, but their positions will sort of swap where Ren is the one like, no, it's okay, Nora, we did all we could, like we couldn't do anything, but Nora's like, we should have trained more, we should have been paying attention. So they'll take a role reversal where what the other one felt is now embodied in the other sort of person, and Ren sort of takes comforting Nora, because I feel Nora will be really pissed that they did not get Tyrion. That's what I think may.
I think that also works. Yeah, I was gonna say I think that also works because it will be like Ren emotionally opening up to Nora as well, and it's kind of like it's her that's the one that's closed off, and then like it kind of gives them both like that character development within their relationship. So I think that's a good idea. Oh,
we also have a theory that Nora become the Winter Maiden.
I actually had a comment on that in my Chapter 5 reaction, but yeah.
And so that could be like maybe she feels more distant and more willing to do something like become a maiden. I don't have the connective tissue yet, but like there are two ideas that I think might end up being related.
I mean, obviously, like there's the whole her grandmother. That's probably her grandmother. Like I'm
because it's
convinced
Freya.
that's her. Right, at this point.
Well, also like, we're used to from like Volume 3. Ironwood's whole over security and trying to like make sure there's no loose ends kind of backfires on everything, and like him trying to like secure knowing who's the next Winter Maiden may backfire if that is Nora's grandmother. And what if it's like, oh, her last thought was Nora, not Winter, despite all of Winter's efforts to become that last thought, and Nora gets it.
Winter's the one that can see her, but that doesn't mean, like, in theory, if she had no other family, that would work. But if it's like, you know what I mean? It's the unknown variable, and I feel like that's Nora. Because even if she sees Winter every day, she's probably really thinking about her family and her granddaughter that she never got to see again on her deathbed, right? That, to me, makes a lot of sense. And so I feel like that even though Ironwood is like, okay, she's seeing Winter every day, what could possibly go wrong? It's like Ironwood always has an element of everything. Like, he forgets that part.
Yeah, and so, exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it'd be interesting, and it'd also be nice to have someone that's like not gonna be a Team Ruby member be a maiden, like share the love. Although that would kind of make like 2 candidates for maidens from Team Juniper so far. Both Pyrrha and Nora. Spectre Who's saying Nora becomes Ragnarok.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
That means
Ragnarok when like all of Norse like basically Norse apocalypse.
Oh. But you would become
She
the
would
apocalypse.
like destroy all of Atlas.
Oh,
She
that's
would
a little
cause,
off.
Can you just imagine like a scene where they're all flying away and then like Marrow is like they like watch all of Atlas like explode and Atlas Marrow's like, don't worry, our home may be destroyed, but the foundation is still there, and then it just like all explodes like, oh nope, the foundation's gone. We'll rebuild somewhere else.
we know smoking pit.
But yeah, I like at least how Ruby was like, Penny, don't leave me, because like, you know, people, yeah, like, was alone with Nora and Ren for months. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say that they're
Ruby
necessarily
was alone.
What did I
You
say?
said Penny was.
No, you said
Ruby
like
was
you said something like, Penny, don't leave me alone, I thought.
No, Penny was alone.
Yeah, Penny was
Oh,
not alone.
oops.
Okay.
Ruby was involved with Nora and Ren for months. And like, I'm not saying they're best friends, but people forget how much time they spent together. So Ruby's like, why are mom and dad fighting?
Yeah.
Like that. Like,
or just like, I'm always like the third wheel when it comes to like my friends and couples. And like, I totally felt Ruby in this episode when like couples just bicker and fight. And I'm just like,
project
out of there.
Yeah, so I feel like Ruby, like Penny escaping, or helping Penny helping Ruby escape.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think is it? Oh dang it! Okay, that's where slideshow number 2 comes in. Is let's see there, just like Penny and Ruby together, just kind of escaping, but like. Also, like, Penny doesn't seem to, like, totally get human relationships still yet. Like, just a little bit. She's like, huh, they're fighting, but why?
Even that whole thing, though, because they were talking about Blake and Yang, but they were actually talking about themselves using Blake and Yang as a vessel for their conversation, so I don't blame Penny being, you know, she doesn't understand the nuance of that people tend to...
Yeah.
You know. I love the conversation because it existed on so many levels. It was about Blake and Yang. It was about Ren and Nora. It was also kind of about like certain segments of Ruby's audience arguing over whether or not Yang is a couple. Like
it just got meta. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Which it also kind of goes with, and I'm sorry for like viewers who've heard me say this like 20 times about Volume 7 so far, but like Volume 7 seems to be like addressing fan thoughts and words very directly.
Even the
how other ways have it done that?
Nora was like, well, Ozpin asked if he could kill Salem, but he didn't say someone else could. Right? Like, that's a whole, not criticism, but that's a whole, like, thought from the fandom is how Ozpin worded his question. Like, instead of asking, how does one kill Salem? How does someone kill Salem? He was like, how do I do it? And, like, that's all very
I think
tricky.
that also speaks to Ozpin's characters, that he often tries to do things by himself and not tell people things.
Yeah, and I think like the Ozpin to Ruby comparison, like on not telling Ironwood, because that was like another example of like the fan saying something like Ruby's being like Ozpin because she didn't say anything to Ironwood, and then the next episode Crow was like, just so you know, you're not like Ozpin, you know.
I like how they're thinking about it at least. Yeah, as characters, like they're considering the same things we're considering because they're not stupid. Ozpin, though.
They gotta Ozpin, however, I don't know. I mean, we all had a couple theories on how they could kill Salem. Like, I thought that you would have to, because they said like you will be immortal for as long as you don't like learn your lesson. So it's like, will she have to like learn her lesson and then she can die?
Yeah, that's been my thought, and like I know Cal heard me say this at RTX, and I've said this on other episodes of VYTALCast, but like I think the reason why she's going after the Silver Eyes is because like the threat of the Silver Eyes might be able to get rid of like the grim part of her, and then she'd be open to feeling emotions that are not evil, and then she'll be able to learn that lesson. And like I feel like Salem is aware of her weakness, but like no one else has super caught on yet.
The Grim Goo made it worse, and I think what's interesting is a couple episodes ago when they talked about Summer, like nobody knows what happened to her, and I've always sort of said like between Maria and Ruby, something changed because originally Salem's idea was cut the eyes out, and now they want Ruby captured. And so in my mind, I'm like, somewhere in between Maria and Ruby, Salem decided to capture Silver-Eyed Warriors instead of cutting their eyes, and that middle point could have been with Summer somehow, right? And so maybe Summer's not dead.
Yeah, maybe Summer's not dead, but she is kind of being a thorn in Salem's side, somewhere in the sidelines. And they've made the connection that Ruby may be her daughter, and if they have a live hostage, that might drive Summer out of hiding, and so they could get at her. That's another angle.
I think they have like pretty solidly said that like Summer is dead.
Have they though?
I think a couple times. It said that like
I need a
Crow,
no body, no death.
Crow is not Ruby.
I know they.
And they've said that Summer is dead.
But like I looked at Summer wiki and nobody like there wasn't any trivia like they've confirmed that Summer's dead. I think
it's
with
just
Crow,
missing in action.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the fact that Crow won't say dead, like I don't know, maybe they changed their mind, but I'm like I don't think that anyone's confirmed she's like dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of Maria. Where's Maria right now?
Nobody cares.
She's having private time with Pietro.
In Volume 6, like she was a really great part of Volume 6, and she's evaporated. And I'm like, where? Is she just chilling with Pietro?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
just hanging out. I dig it. But
so we're gonna have like the theater scene of them inside the theater, and the sirens go off. We're gonna see like her with Pietro, just like having tea, and then the sirens go off, and they're like, hope the kids have fun.
Because Pietro was gonna. My daughter couldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we have to see a reaction from him. He has to come back. They were in the... But where are they? You know? I know, like, she was such a big part of Volume 6, and now she's just, like
yeah.
Did kind of have a purpose, and she served
I know,
the purpose.
but isn't this sad? Like, it's just sad.
It's gonna be like the 3 alien toys in Toy Story 3. Like they disappeared at the beginning of the junkyard part, and then they randomly show up to save the day. Yeah.
I like that her and Pietro are just playing cards or something.
They're playing Scrabble.
Yeah, at least he's dabbing is like they're watching Uno the movie by Achievement Hunter. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. Gosh. Yeah. So next slide. Oh, also I love like the fist bump from Ruby and Penny.
Yeah, that's comedic.
Yeah. It reminded me of the bonsai moment from Volume 1.
Bonsai.
In Volume 1, after that, then they lean. The Samurai Shampoo reference.
Yeah, I have that set as one of my alerts on streams. I can't remember if it's when people subscribe or when people donate. It's one of the two. I think subscribing.
To find out.
Yeah, hey, someone donate and find out. Just kidding. I think Ruby jumping up and saying with the Y thing is like the subscribe alert, and then the other one is the donation. If no one wants to risk the money, but yeah. Also, like, I don't know about you guys, but I think Ruby's been super cute this volume. Like, yeah, like Ruby Rose, not like the show. I mean the show, but also Ruby the girl. Yeah, and also like this chapter, while I was doing like the screenshots, like the facial expressions are like super good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're really good.
Especially with Robin.
That. I know something is that in Volume 1, which is something that really happened a lot in Volume 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is that there's a lot of like these weird anime-ish cutaway gags. Yeah. Like there's the bonsai, there's in like Volume 2, like Ruby briefly goes 2-dimensional in Chibi before Ruby Chibi.
You mean
that was like chapter 3 of Volume 1. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like those weird, like more anime-y cutaway gags, and they're kind of bringing them back, and they're doing them really well, better than they did in 1, definitely.
There's been a lot of like Volume 1 callbacks in this chapter. Like, is it chapter 2 when they're in the cave, or is that chapter 3? For Volume 7, in the mine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's 3.
Yeah, because there's like Weiss. She was like posing to go strike the Geist, and then like Harriet hits it out of the way or something.
Oh, yeah, because that's like what Ruby did.
Yeah, it's what Ruby did, and it was like, except for Weiss didn't screw up and light everything on fire. But there's been a lot of like little nods like that back to Volume 1 that I've been super appreciating, and like the anime humor coming back, I really enjoyed, especially when it's like anime humor done right. I feel like Volume 4 and Volume 5 tried it a little bit, and it didn't stick as well as it could have. I think.
Notice it in Volume 4 and 5, them doing kind of that very distinctively like anime like animation.
There's only like 2 moments between the 2 volumes.
Oh.
There's like Ruby's head going gigantic, laughing at Jean. I think that one worked a bit. And then the second one that comes to mind is when Yang punches that guy at the gas station, and he just ping pongs out the door. Yeah. So
I've been rewatching Volume 5. I really like Volume 5. Like, I'm a defender of Volume 5, generally speaking. But like, why did they do that? Is he like Rubber Man semblance?
Dude, it took me out of the moment. I didn't like that moment. I was like, you could have been still comedic if you just didn't. It just had him like fall backwards normally, or fly out in a straight line. Like,
yeah,
his trajectory made no sense.
I can't say for Miles and Carrie, but Eddie this week was like rewatching Volume 3, da 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 da, and like somebody was like, it's good to see the writers rewatch their show,
Yeah.
What if Eddie was rewatching Volume 1 and he was like, we should do some more of that stuff?
Because when I see like weird anime references, I view that as like maybe a Monty influence, because I know he really liked Samurai Champloo, so I imagine that that's probably why they got that like Hiya or like the bonsai reference potentially.
But I think they're definitely doing a good job. I really like that. But yeah, I'm sure like they know from like the back of their hand, right? Like the writers. But it's interesting to see that Eddie's openly like, yeah, I was rewatching Volume 3. And he's rewatching Volume 3 when he is repeating itself. Somebody is again framed.
For,
you know what I'm saying? Like that stuff. Like
it does not bode well for Nora, I feel.
What do you mean, Nora?
I don't know. Just because like Nora had this look of like shock on her face, and like she might become the new maiden, and that didn't work out for Pyrrha very well.
Oh.
I mean, Penny framed though. That's like Yang.
Yeah,
that's what
I guess that's true.
Yeah, we had our Yang moment, so now we need. Does that mean the next chapter someone's just gonna? No, I guess next chapter would be a villain episode if we're going by the same formula, and then we have a chapter where someone gets killed by a friend.
Well,
if we're to 100% copy Volume 3.
Oh, the thumbnail's been released. What was the thumbnail?
It was Blake and Yang.
Okay. Well, I guess that.
But yeah, I'm assuming we're getting Robin stuff. But
the villain episode was more of like a Volume 3 copy joke than.
Yeah,
actually.
I know.
Okay. I'm like, please don't think I'm that stupid. Okay.
I guess the same thing, because in Volume 6, the second episode, after they make a big reveal, is they then cut the Cinder. And so I thought after they made the big Penny reveal, they would cut the Cinder and Neo showing up. But they obviously, Cinder and Neo are nowhere to be seen. Neo watched 28.
And we can talk about that. Jessica was recording today.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that.
Here's my predictions, I guess. I don't know if they do it this last minute, like her voice lines, but it's either Christmas break cliffhanger, in my opinion, or it's going to be the end of the season, because it's like, this would be the perfect time for Cinder and Neo to infiltrate the city when things are in complete fucking chaos. And so that's where, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I doubt that they would do her lines for this week. Like, that to me doesn't make any sense. But they haven't started recording for Volume 8. So in my head, I'm like, okay, it's either far enough out, like Christmas, like before Christmas, that they can just put lines in there. I mean, they're kind of last minute. So 2 weeks before in her schedule, like, who knows? Maybe they did call her late. Or it's going to be, like,
or she
watch that random Ruby Chibi Christmas episode with Cinder in it. That's a joke, but
boy, would that be disappointing.
Yeah, it would be.
David, just the suggestion of that shot a cold jolt of fear up my spine. that instead of seeing Cinder in the show, we see a Ruby Chibi Christmas special.
Ruby Chibi's like hot. Okay, I know she doesn't like that word.
Like
It's
they keep it on the
it's hiatus. Like,
Yeah.
no, like Ask Miles and Carrie, and that person like spread it all over the internet. Like that shit is canceled, at least for the next little while.
Yeah.
So ripperoonie to Ruby Chibi. But yeah.
So I believe that Neo and Cinder are already there,
Oh no.
and they're hiding. But you know who they're hiding as?
Who?
The Penguin. Because here's something, David, listen to me.
Yeah.
This is important.
I'm listening.
Penguins, so they're in a tundra. When you see the penguins, they're outside the mine, right?
Mhm.
And the mine, specifically mentioned multiple times, is a tundra.
Mm-hmm.
Penguins do not exist in tundras. They exist in coastal areas. But then, well, what are those penguins doing there in that tundra? It's because they're not penguins. They're not penguins. They are Neo and they are Cinder, cleverly disguised, right, as penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we don't have a computer. I can't make this video. I have to find some way to express my... They're penguins right now.
Yeah.
And you know why it's brilliant, David? You know why it's brilliant?
Why?
People love penguins. There's a lot of pro-penguin propaganda out there. You got March of the Penguins. You got Happy Feet. You got Madagascar. People love them.
Yeah.
No one would suspect that an international terrorist is... Listen, like if Osama bin Laden just dressed up as a penguin, he'd still be alive right now. No one would have...
In the middle of the Middle East. Like just a penguin.
Tundra, the Middle East, the desert, penguins still equally do not belong there, which is why Cinder and Neo
Here's
are
the
already
only
there.
credit-
They're dressed as penguins.
Here's the only
drop
credit
mic.
I'm gonna give this theory is, and somebody in the chat said this, one penguin was really tall and the other was really short.
It's
Like,
canon.
They're penguins. I
Um,
feel the aliens guy.
maybe to get back
Penguins.
to something a little more grounded.
Watch,
Okay.
watch. We're gonna see like people running in the city, and though two penguins are in the street, a person passes by, and it's Cinder and Neo. Like,
Hell, look at me. Remember when you predicted Jin?
Yeah.
And
Is
how-
this what it's
This
like?
will be my Jin.
Yeah.
you
So-
predicted
David, she predicted Jin
the
in like volume 5.
because
she
like a genie in the lamp type.
She
Statue, right?
She
the
predicted the statue would be her. She like, yeah.
I was like, the grid. Yeah, I
And
said the
you're
relic
like-
is not an object; it's a person, and obviously, like,
And in the video, I'm like, you idiot! Why would the... Yeah, but then of course you were correct.
Well, you know something odd that I just noticed while I was grabbing screenshots, and it might have been in slideshow number 1, which I will go to.
I realized that
Hold on.
gave me a bit of...
oh, what?
Hold on, I need to go back. It was during the training sequence. Did I screenshot what I saw? Come on. Work a little faster. Okay, you can't see it in that one. You can't see in that one. You can't see in that one. Why is it... Okay, I don't have it in any of my screenshots, but the Spear
What
of
was it?
Creation is in, like, the Atlas Academy, like, training room symbols up on the wall.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all the things are like hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Wait, what's the Veil or like Beacon Academy symbol?
It's a shield and 2 axes.
And okay, that's not a that's not a relic. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think we'll get to Robin, but my crack theory today was that it's not Robin that Cinder. It's not Robin that Yang are fighting. It's actually Cinder has been disguised on the outside by Neo because Cinder also has like a bow and arrow. She can rearrange her, and so she could cover the weapon to make it
Yeah.
look like Robin. Also cover her skin like the
Mhm.
outside of the arrow, make her look like Robin. That was my
That's
nonsense.
That's smart. Also, I want to say hi to Eternally Kiwi in the chat saying hi, since they just dropped in. So, just want to welcome new viewers, joining in. But yeah, that would make sense. And honestly, like, what's up with like the Rooster Teeth Twitter or like the Ruby Twitter, just like throwing out spoilers before the episode? Who do they think they are? Star Wars?
That was like 2 weeks.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that was out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was...
Like,
It's
that was one of the things I saw, like, after the episode 6 ended. I was like, wait, we never saw Yang and Blake fight Robin. But, yeah.
And then we're all like, it's not from this episode, actually. It's from next episode.
Yeah.
Or maybe after, like.
Yeah.
and that like that has to have been a mistake, right?
Well,
Well,
that's the question. It's like, did they take it down because it was a spoiler for Chapter 7? Or did they take it down because it was way too early to help promote Chapter 7?
Yeah.
See, they made a community post, and they were like, oh, well, we fucked up. Usually we check with Miles and
Okay.
Carrie, but we fucked up. So they made a community post basically saying, we're sorry, we fucked up. Like, that was the...
I am checking
they-
this out right now because I just want
They
to
prob-
see it.
That later.
Yeah, I'm assuming they were going to release it, like, mid-season to start promoting, like, in terms of Twitter, or not at all. Like, they weren't supposed to include that, and they did because they don't know what's going on.
They
Like,
also have new footage in that you see Blake like swing across a busy street of like cars.
yeah, I mean,
zooming
she's
by fast.
chasing
Yeah.
Robin,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, but...
And that's
Also-
footage that's new.
Not to like throw any shade towards the community side of the Rooster Teeth site right now, but like I wish they would have like a main feed where it's like all the official Rooster Teeth accounts again, like they did in the OG. So
As much as I'm engaged in Rooster Teeth, I've never done a lot of the, I guess, community posts.
well, it used to be like super active, and then when they changed like the site format to what it currently was, the community side of the site just like died. Like no one really started using it. And I've talked to Jackie in 2018 and 2019 about it because she was saying like, oh yeah, they're making the beta. She let me into the beta early, and I'd like talk to them being like, hey, I would like to like advertise and talk about the community site when it's ready to go live. And she said like, we'll get back to you on that, and then they didn't. Because she's like, oh yeah, we would like to have some official collaboration, but like she didn't get back to it. But it's still technically in beta, right? Or is it?
Yeah, I think it's open to everyone now, but it's still in beta. Because I got into the beta too, and I had the same question. I'm like, can I record stuff?
Yeah.
And they didn't care.
Yeah, Jackie told me she wanted to wait till it's like officially out of beta and like finished. So I'm hoping that feature, because she said there's a lot of features that aren't in the beta that they will unveil at some point.
Because it would be nice, like, obviously, I don't want it to be spammed, but it's always sort of been nice to be able to promote reactions to other places. Because, like, for me, like, even if I get, like, 10 notes on Tumblr, like, I've done the math, and that at least calculates, like, 1,000 views for 10 notes, because Tumblr's just so dead. I don't know how that happened. That's happened a couple times, or, like...
Why does your Tumblr work, but mine doesn't? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but I noticed, like, 10 notes, 10 notes, 1,000 views. 20 notes, 2,000 views. So there seems to be some sort of direct relation. But yeah, I would like to post on the site.
I also feel like the Rooster Teeth Reddit is so large and so has so many people involved
Rooster
in
Teeth
it.
Reddit doesn't like reactors, and so you would do not dare post.
There was only one time that I could think of, and it's not to toot my own horn, but it was VYTALCast episode 2, and it made it in the top 3 posts. And that was while it was live. Because we had Lady Stardust on, and for, you know, her being as popular as she was back then, like, people shared it, and like, look, a bunch of Ruby tubers came on to one stream. Yeah.
I think for analysis, it's generally okay. They just do not see like reaction or at least people posting the reaction videos, not to say that they don't like watch, but
but also Eternally Kiwi is saying, I'm gonna start switching this between this live stream and Murder of Birds. I appreciate
just
that.
have them both on. That won't be distracting. Then have them both on at the same time. That will not be distracting at all.
Yeah. That's why they're switching, so there's still only one at a time.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, wait. No, I don't think the Ruby Twitter changed their bio away from combat ready.
Yeah, they said combat ready, and then they changed it to kick butt or whatever. Ruby's ready to, I don't know, whatever.
That's weird, because I remember, like, up to chapter 1, they still had the combat ready in their bio. But I could be wrong.
They Maybe they put it back when it got closer to Penny, but that was like, oh, Penny's coming
Or,
back.
or maybe after Penny was revealed and I was just really dumb and like went back and checked it afterwards. I don't know.
There's a whole thing with that. They're definitely like, I don't want to throw shade, but it's like they do not give any they do not give any about the non-first members anymore if they're following the Ruby Twitter account. They are posting on the same day. It's like if you don't have a first membership or you don't watch it like with your friends or whatever, you're basically like screwed,
Yeah. And I wonder if they just assume like if they don't have a first account, they just have Verve or any. Verve is the only other account. I mean, like streaming service that has Rooster Teeth first. What?
Verve isn't available for Canadians.
Oh.
So like we're totally without Verve up in the cold, frigid north.
Yeah. I don't.
And then HBO whatever is not available for you guys either, huh?
About HBO Max.
HBO Max isn't available. Hulu also isn't available for us. It's deeply upsetting. Wow. We do have social health care, so I guess bonus points for...
Dang it.
But no HBO.
Yeah, they're like, you can only have one or the other. HBO or your healthcare in there. You guys chose wisely.
I guess no insulin for Hunter.
But yeah, I think we have diverged a little.
Yeah, yeah, we'll go back to the Ruby. We were talking about Rooster Teeth community site, but I would love to see a revival of that, because like the Rooster Teeth community site is where I met a lot of my online friends, like Shane Nanigans, who like records the VYTALCast panel for me, and like Stephen Rawlings, who was in the chat last week, but I don't know where he is now. But yeah. Yeah. Also, that's canny. Now that Funimation isn't on Verve, they got High Dive, which also does English dub anime, if you are interested in that. And they had Land of the Lustrous, which is one of my favorite anime. And Princess Tutu. But anyway, back to Ruby. What's in the next slide? Oh yeah, there's Marrow bickering with the Happy Huntress.
This Marrow conversation was so weird to me.
I
like no, not that, but it's like, everything's legal, right? It's legal, right? It's legal. Right? Dang it.
What did they do that was illegal? Did they?
I called. You know what I called Marrow?
Like, what is it?
You know why I called Marrow during that scene? I called him a bootlicker. I was like, stop caring so much about like the legal lines, you know.
It's just like, that's where I'm like, Marrow's suspicious. Like, I do think maybe stronger on Clover now, and like Marrow may change his because it would be nice for his character development if at the beginning he's like, well, I'm not here to change these socioeconomic issues right now. You know, he didn't really care, but maybe like Team Ruby has sort of changed his heart. That would kind of be nice.
Which is why I buy Marrow as potentially being like the spies, because he has a real kind of objectivist, like, fuck you, got mine attitude. Like, he doesn't care about the plight of the faunus because it's worked okay for him. Yeah. He doesn't really care about other people's socioeconomic issues because it's worked okay for him. So it almost makes sense that he would betray an organization if it was beneficial for himself.
Yeah. I was going to say he seems to be the token faunus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the token faunus, like he's only let in on the Aesops to kind of like, look, we're diverse. Look, we got a faunus. Look at this. You know.
But yeah, I think that, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Anyway, I will come back. But yeah,
he was a dog with a bone. You said.
Oh, right. He's supposed to be based off of the Aesop's fable where the dog has the bone in his mouth, but he's by a river, and so he sees another bone, so he tries to grab both bones, and he loses the bone, because it's just a reflection, right?
Yeah, and then he has to drop one bone to pick up the other, and then it gets swept away.
And so, in that way, it does speak to sort of greed and, like, selfishness and stuff like that. So that's where I'm like, Clover seems like he's sketchy for these reasons, but Marrow's specific, like, Aesop's interpretation, or what he's based off of, is the only sketchy one. Like, the Almond Vine one about Marrow, generally, like, unproblematic, like, nobody's evil. Tortoise and the Hare, I mean, I guess the hare was, like, in the wrong, but it wasn't bad. But, like, greed and selfishness is
it's a shame
really
we didn't
bad, right?
We didn't get a turtle faunus out of the Tortoise and the Hare.
Yeah, all their stats are in defense, no speed. Yeah.
Yeah, tries to catch two bones with the and so I don't know. I feel like it could go two ways, where it's like, yeah, this is everything that makes Marrow sketchy, or Marrow will have a change of heart and he realizes he was wrong and Ruby was right, and now he's
just him being sketchy and him having that attitude doesn't necessarily mean he's in like league
yeah, I know.
Also, he might be just like so tied to the rules because like he had to stick to the rules so strictly to get into the Aesops.
That's true.
And like he's trying to show like a very strict loyalty, and like I said, he's kind of being used as like the token Faunus of like, oh, this is what all the Faunus should be like for like all the Atlas people down to Mantle. Also, Verif mentioned he liked Mara's perspective on Robin was to help build her character for us, so I switched to the picture with both of them on screen.
Yeah, I think that was interesting for a conversation.
I also really enjoyed the one Happy Huntress, the May Marigold.
Yeah.
That bit of like, oh, like that's just, even the second you realize who she is, what's her background, there's a lot of supplementary information you can kind of assume, like, oh, your brother was like a rich asshole, but you kind of separated from the family and you became a revolutionary for the people.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting story. The type of thing we probably won't get in depth, which is either
but we presume, right? Like we can imagine that is the most likely answer for her character. They're trying to tell us something by giving her the last name without like literally diving into it, and
which is subtle,
nice.
And it's a nice way of doing it. And if you want a big gulp of it, that's why we have fan fiction, I suppose.
Yeah, or who knows? They're writing official novels now, and we got a manga and a DC comic. What?
I would been so into like a Robin Happy Huntress origin story novel.
Yeah, that kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like we could create a list of like different origin stories.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure May Marigold
like.
is definitely Henry's sister, and so that's sort of interesting, like that. And people said she's based off of Maid Marian, which is supposed to be Robin Hood's like love interest. Like she was noble, but then off with Robin Hood.
Which is weird.
I don't think they're in a relationship.
I think he's noble and then ran off.
I was gonna say like that might build into like part of the background of her leaving her family to join Robin, but it doesn't have to be romantic.
I also they made the like nothing character of Henry Marigold, and they made him into something by virtue of having a cool sibling. I think Robin's love interest is kind of Fiona.
I think all of them are in love with her, so it doesn't matter. Like I'm not saying Robin has Arab. I'm just saying that
they're like, I all joined this team to get a shot at Robin. Yeah.
Maybe like
you're pretty cool, Nora. Still... Would you like to join my polyamorous lesbian hunter?
Oh my god!
There is a guy in there.
What?
There's a male happy hunter?
No.
Is there?
No. They're just very
the
butch.
Dark-skinned with face tattoos?
Yeah.
Butch, man. I think she's a woman, yeah.
Oh, never mind. My bad.
Oh, some people think that May is trans because her voice actress is trans.
I think it makes more sense for the butch one to be trans. I know that's a stereotype, I guess, but that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't that term kind of frowned upon? But like, I don't know.
Internally, it's not.
They're also very tall, and so I don't know. Like, that's the other thing that I was sort of thinking about.
Yeah, the chat's going off on me. They're like, everyone's female. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Who's the happy huntresses?
Because I think her name's Joanna. Joanna's 6'3", and like that is very, very tall, right? Okay. And so in my mind, if a character was trans, I would think, okay, well that's like.
But then again, so is like Pyrrha. So is
Pyrrha's
Elm.
not 6
So, but Elm.
She's. Like, isn't Jean like 6'1"?
Jean's a guy though. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Like.
I don't know about that.
I was gonna say, like, Pyrrha was, like, the same height, maybe an inch taller in heels than Jean. Yeah, so she could be, like, 5'11". Actually...
I do like the idea of May, though. I think it was interesting that people were like, she's Henry! And I was just like,
yes, people
thought
that.
She's not!
That, because, like, I guess they've built up like the idea that the characters share the same gender identity as the voice actor, and so it was the same way with the performer for the first mate and the shipmate in Volume 4. was non-binary. So people made the assumption that, oh, that character was then non-binary.
And I still think the character can be trans, but that doesn't mean Henry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But also, like, May seemed older than Henry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The voice is way different. Like, it's the timeline doesn't add up. It's more interesting to have a sister, I think.
Yeah, to have a sister that ran away from the you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I just,
I don't know. Maybe she ran away because she was trans, like, either closeted or outed to her family, and they didn't accept her, and things became unsafe, and she ran off.
Yeah,
that'd be, like, a good motivation. And then, like, Robin is obviously, like, for the people and all the people.
Yeah. Ruby does a weird thing, though, is that they've made, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with, but as a president, they talk about how Ruby is an entirely egalitarian society. Remnant is an egalitarian, where, like, there is no sexism, there is no homophobia. Presumably there would be no transphobia.
I would argue we've seen some examples of sexism already in the show as early as Volume 1.
So, I know that their intention was to make it that way, but they forgot. That's sort of what I say, is like, Remnant is, but the writers put their own sort of subconscious bias, and that's sort of what we've got. Does that make sense? So
well, also, like, it's really hard to write, like, a society that's lacking the flaws of real life society, because you're going to be like, oh, how does society work? And the only example you have is, like, what we have.
I'm not a girl. That's something so benign to be, like, people probably don't even think about that while they're...
But in a world where sexism does not exist, it would be like, well, why would you be concerned about hitting a girl? Which is why it's difficult when you do... Because fantasy is so allegorical, because if you're creating a fantasy world, there's going to be direct allegories. Like, there's direct allegories between faunist people and, you know, African Americans, and the White Fang and the Black Panther Party, and being, like, a closeted gay person or a biracial person.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's the idea to, like, utilize flaws of the real world, but then also deny some flaws don't exist. It just doesn't quite pan out.
Yeah. And I feel like they're doing their best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't blame, but Remnant's not, you know, in this scene and this scene. It's more of a fault of the writers. It's not something, the world itself is the way that they said it is. They just sometimes mess up, and they're human, you know?
Well, also, I would say, like, unless the show, like, in show says Remnant lacks those, I wouldn't entirely hold it against the show either.
Yeah, I would say
because that was a comment made outside of the show, so it's like, I wouldn't hold that too far against it until it's explicitly said in the show, and then the show itself has contradicted itself. So.
But to a wide extent, like, that's true. Like, there's a lot of women. Actually, I don't know how many women in power there are.
My only thing is, like, all of the headmasters are male.
Except for, Vacuo, headmistress.
Theodore, the headmistress of Vacuo.
Theodore? Oh,
that was our one hope, was like, the Vacuo one's gonna be a woman.
Yeah.
No, his name is Theodore, and it's in the Team Coffee book. I don't know.
That's what I thought. A woman in that. I guess I was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me, like, come on, guys, really?
Yeah, so...
Actually, wait. We do have one woman in power of one continent / nation. Salem.
Yeah.
Not that that's a great example, but...
Come join the dark side. Be a girl boss.
Join the dark side. We're feminists. Which isn't a good message.
All civilization. But we'll end it for everyone.
Oh,
like, equality. Everyone gets death. But rip Sienna Khan. Yeah, that was a
I guess Sienna Khan was a woman. Yeah,
that's not.
But that's like a movement.
Power.
Because by the same equivalency, then Robin would count.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Robin counts.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of
like in the government or a nation, like, officially recognized.
Yeah.
But I guess Coco's leader. Like, there's a lot of female team leaders, like Ruby's. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
an all-woman team.
That doesn't matter.
Coco's the leader.
Cal's just like, Cal is just not buying it. She's like, no.
Well, it's just because it's like, even if the teams are, it's sort of like, you know, you think, okay, like, you know, from a huntsman, you work your way up to a teacher, and then you be a professor. But it's like, all the professors, except for Glinda and Professor Peach, are all men.
Yeah.
And then the head are men.
No, watch.
It was-
Peach would just be a man. Like the name just threw us off. Have they...
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Professor Peach.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Like, I understand, but at the same time, they could have, I don't know, they could have just gender bent Oobleck, and would anything change? Like, no.
Which is ironic because a lot of the leaders, like Ironwood and Glinda and Oz, were all based off of the Wizard of Oz. And the Wizard of Oz was like, it came out around the suffragette movement. And most women in position of power in those books were women. Like, in that, the Wicked Witch, it was only the wizard, and the wizard was a chump and a dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's early 20th century kind of feminism baked into the book that didn't really cross over when they adapted it to Ruby.
My whole thing is like, if you can gender bend a character and nothing would be different, you may as well do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's weird. Like with Ironwood, it's like nothing Ironwood does relies on him being a guy, right? And so you could have had Ironwood be a man and been okay. I mean,
I could argue that Ironwood being a man, that like I could see like him kind of struggling with internal toxic masculinity and like wanting to be strong and not showing what. So,
I was saying he wasn't the best choice for me to use him as an example.
Yeah, he wasn't the best choice. I'm just like, I could see like him having some like internalized like masculinity problems where he's just like not willing to show weakness.
Yeah, well that's the. I feel like Ironwood is kind of allegorical to like, think about it. He runs a giant military.
This is the
sole power of that military. That military expresses its power around the world in shows of force, and it always comes up. Like, I feel like he's kind of an allegory for like
America,
American military expansion in a way. Do you understand that?
Yeah, no. I understand perfectly. Like, I see it.
Yeah, and so he's kind of like a macho general. And so, but the thing is that gender plays into that. And so you can't decouple gender when you then bring it over into a world where like where macho-ness shouldn't exist. And like, as you mentioned, as toxic
I feel like Cal has just been like as red as a tomato for most of VYTALCast tonight. Like, we just... Yeah.
It was mostly laughing. Like, my cheeks hurt out laughing.
No, I know. It's not a bad thing.
But yeah, Marrow, poor Marrow. Like, I don't know him, but
he's a complicated character. Yeah.
Speaking of complicated, shortly after this, there is a murder.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you said that right when I put Fiona on screen. Like,
they pick her up as being so cute, and then they rip her down.
Yeah, that was.
Wait. But did we actually see her last breath in this episode?
Not bad.
Because we see her, she does say, "I'm fine," and I'm kind of like hoping that since they're already in a city with hospitals, that she could be treated for the venom like Crow was. Because
I don't think she's been.
What?
Arm. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think
so she could be bleeding out.
He's just bleeding.
Man, where's Jean? Jean had to go see a movie. He could have fixed it.
Right when you could be useful.
I know, right?
Yeah.
God damn, your fucking Bruce Willis movie.
But
hi, Austin. He said for me to notice him, so I did.
I talked about this in our analysis, but it's definitely like, and I called this the Tetsuya Nomura effect. When you tell your team, make this character as cute as possible, and then you kill her. Because the easiest way for the audience to get attached to a character is by their appearance and by them being cute, right? Like, for boys and right? Like,
she's cute,
hotness
she's
doesn't necessarily work because, like, if you make a male hot character, like, the straight guys make fun. But if you make her cute is appealing to
Yeah.
you know, men and
Everyone.
moms. Like, everybody loves the cute sheep.
Yeah,
But
but Q also has like innocence and like
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Also,
just
this
wanna-
is the screenshot that made me cry, by the way. When I tweeted,
Right,
like,
when-
catch me crying.
Their little tear. She just
I
loves
know.
Robin's.
And then Robin comes up and like they give like a hug and it's just,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, it's the hug screenshot that I'm like, yeah. Oh, also, Lee is bringing up a joke we had last week. That like Volume 3 had like the redheads dying, you know, and then now with Volume 7, it's everyone with the name that starts with F is gonna die. So we had Forrest, Fiona, Freya, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah. F in the chat, everyone.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Also, everyone's like protect Flint because you know he's
Oh.
also.
Oh.
If we're going with the trend, you know, kill a
Are
fan.
the
favorite.
redheads back? Are we gonna get like it's kind of like at the end of the third Star Wars movie where you see the ghost of
Spoilers?
Yoda
Question mark. I mean,
for a movie that came out in the 70s?
Yeah,
I think
Return
we're
of the Jedi.
Yes,
1983.
but it's like
yeah.
the ghost of Adam and Roman and all of the redheads of the past.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
but yeah, they definitely made Fiona cute and innocent and everything to have her murdered. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Or
that
just
they did
hurt.
that. Or hurt
Yeah.
her, right?
But imagine, like, you know.
Tyrion's like, yeah, that's the one I gotta really get. Like, he knew, like, I don't know. And he's taunting Ruby. He made Ruby see her, I'm convinced. Like, him and Watts with the theatrics, it's like, he made sure, he probably did a couple rounds. Like, did you notice yet? Like, he wanted Ruby to see the tail and feel that dread. Like, he totally did that on purpose. I don't know.
Tyrion's also the subtle assassin there's ever been.
Like, I mean, people wouldn't bat an eye at a tail, though, because Pietro is making, you know,
guess so.
arms for Faunus that have lost their stuff. Like, I don't think people would immediately see it as dangerous.
Oh, it's not.
You know what I
and
mean?
he can hide it. Like, it was a reveal that he was a scorpion
Yeah.
faunus in
Yeah.
Volume 4.
Hold on. I'm getting a slideshow
Pretty
number
CMI
3
agree.
up because apparently OBS cannot take more than like so many photos, and I take way too many screenshots. Now I need to set up more. I need to set up another hotkey. So I'm running out of keys to hotkey with, but we'll get there eventually. I was trying to get to Tyrion, and then it was like, oops, guess that went too far with the screenshots.
Yeah, I just love how Watts is like, he's a conductor. Like, he's,
Yeah.
you know, like, some people compared him to a puppeteer, and I think that's fine, but it's like, he's literally, like, I feel like he's in the orchestra pit, and he's conducting, and all of the things are, like, piano keys. Like, it's just, he's so theatrical and extra. And so is
I was
Tyrion.
gonna say, like, they should have had classical music playing in his room when he was doing it.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah. Like, when I was doing the screenshots, I had the episode muted, but also I had it paused so I could screenshot, you know? So I was like, I don't know if they did play, like, something that could be considered classical music in his room. But I don't think they did.
But all the
remake, sort of.
scrolls, like, were lined out like a piano, and he was dancing with his
it was
fingers
just-
over them.
Yeah, I definitely made a joke. Hold on, we'll get back to that one. I did make a joke, like, have you seen the pictures of, like, the old man with, like, 20 phones to play Pokemon Go at the same time? Like, I feel
Yes.
like that was Watts, you know? Like, he was like, alright, I need to do some hacking. Here's my 20
There's a-
scrolls.
Where Watts just got really into Pokemon Go, and
God.
we're all
He does the Mewtwo raid all by himself. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to Tyrion, I guess, the Renora kiss moment, you know?
That
blew
was
me away.
Yeah.
crazy.
I didn't expect it this
I
episode.
really had.
I expected them to just fight for the entire episode and have the Renora kiss be later down the road, but just like
I can't
Penny,
wait.
a lot sooner than expected.
I also loved Ren's line of, like, you know, I'm not good with talking, of
Yeah.
like his inability to try to communicate his feelings. It's like, it was so wonderfully put in so few words, and then the kiss. It was genuinely. It couldn't have done better. It was so wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. Because, like, I think his semblance, or, like, him always using his semblance has kind of, like, affected his ability to, like, properly communicate how he feels.
Mhm.
So, Cal looked like she may had something to say, but then
Oh, I was like, yeah, like that makes sense.
That
But yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait for people to see our reaction. Like, I've literally, like, nothing has shocked me like that before. Like, nothing. And so it was just crazy. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I was
also
just
yeah. They didn't just kiss; they like made out. Like there was hand.
Like there was
brief,
tongue.
Like,
yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, like look at that. Also, can I for some reason, like, I'm just used to like good things being ruined. I was afraid that Ren at first was gonna reject the kiss, like with how he looked shocked. I'm like, please don't push her away. And then he embraces her, and it was just
nice.
everything I ever wanted. Like,
and where I forgot that anything bad was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That melted away because again they lulled us into this false sense of security, only to rip us apart because we were just so happy. The highs and then bringing in Tyrion love.
But also, just like what you're saying, that moment, like how it like made us forget anything bad was gonna happen. They blurred all the surroundings to them in the kiss, so like they used the shot to resemble what it's being used for, and I loved that.
There was a distraction.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm a film student. I learn things like this. Like, Volume 7's been doing a lot... Like, ever since Volume 4, they've been doing very great with making things cinematic in that way. And I'm like, I love this. Thank you, Kruby. You feed and water my crops every week. And there's Watts doing his conductor thing on screen for a second. I'm going to switch to it, because I bet Tyrion's the next one. There he is!
I love
Creepy Smoke.
Who's in everything.
It is really
so nice.
Quite, yeah.
I mean, even though it's terrible.
It was nice. That just you could tell, like, oh shit. It's almost like he's doing something awful and you hate him for it, but he had so much fun
such a theatric
that you almost forget for a moment and you kind of fall into it all.
I don't seen Code Geass, but have you?
Dude, wait, hold on. Where is my copy? It is somewhere in my drawer. So Code Geass was like the second, because I might have bought Naruto first, but it's like one of the only anime I owned a physical copy of for the longest time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm only season 2, episode like 10 or something.
Yeah.
But
you know what's funny? I bought season 1, but all like the box art is season 2. So I think I got a weird pirated bootleg Code Geass.
Yeah, anyone knows Code Geass, like Lelouch is just so theatrical in what he does, and like that's kind of shitty. Maybe you shouldn't do that, but he's just so animated and theatrical, and like moving his cape. Like there will be all of that.
He's like the perfect Machiavellian character. I feel like the ends justify the means kind of character.
And that's about to not really Tyrion, but to more Watts to the extent like Watts gives me the theatrics that I feel like come from Lelouch and sort of even Light from
they're
Death
also
Note,
like strategists too.
Yeah. More than John ever was.
Poor John.
He's the strategist. Does no strategy.
John call me when he can hack an election with that much style. Like, come on. Putin did it like that. I'd be mad.
Yeah, if he just like live streamed himself going like that, yeah, everyone would be fine.
Get me the cello.
Disagree.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a next slide? Oh, that was the other slide hotkey. Oh, there's Ruby just freaking out. Again, with the facial expressions being good.
So up until before this volume, David, I'm curious, did you like Tyrion? Because I always kind of thought he was a little much and was never into him.
Same, actually. People got on my case because I'm like, I don't like Tyrion. And like, how could you not like Tyrion? Because the moment he started laughing and like sinking into his chair in Volume 4, I was like, I can't stand him. I
think that they were going too hard with it, and like we made a video last volume, and we were like, Tyrion's getting annoying, and it had like 30 dislikes and 60 likes. Like people were just not happy.
Pretty divided, yeah.
Like, he's getting
it's just a whole lot.
Like I feel like with 7, they've adjusted so many people's characters to make them more likable. Like to me,
Tyrion is definitely more likable in Volume 7.
And I feel like they cranked
him down a little,
but they fixed it. I don't know. They made him in the right ways. Like, I feel like his movement more so than his maniacal evil
Because when
laughing.
he's not, he's great. Like in that, like in a pro fight, you can tell he's batshit insane, but he doesn't ramble. Like if I wanted,
don't tell, you know?
show don't tell. If I wanted someone to ramble, I could just like go to Oshawa and speak to a homeless man.
Yeah.
Like I don't need.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like Salem hitting him with a table, like, gave him enough of a concussion that it fixed his, like, problems.
It's how Crow's not drinking, and now he has a new voice. It's all,
like, it was all the alcoholism that made him so groggy.
Exactly.
And,
it's like, everyone knows that being voiced by Vic Minnyaga is a main cause of alcoholism. I don't know.
He's like, there's something toxic in it, and I'm trying to kill it with alcohol.
Ninth step in AA is fire Vic from your.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. Anyways, moving forward.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe we should move off this topic before we have certain hero wannabes coming after us.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then we got like Night Vision Penny. I liked that. Oh, I asked a question on the internet, and it's funny that I made a dumb sort of reference that like Cal and I have talked in private about, but like I kind of for my reaction wanted to make like a clickbait thumbnail where I turned the neon green on Penny to red.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, and it would have been me like, you know, and then like red Penny. I'm like, ha ha ha. But then I'm like, people would hate me so much if they like click on the reaction and like they hadn't seen the episode, and then like Penny never turns red or gets hacked. You know, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pull that.
They haven't seen the episode.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I used to get comments like this, and Arnold just recently tweeted a comment that was exactly like what I used to get in Volume 4 a lot, where people were like, shut up, we're trying to watch the episode. It's like, it's a reaction video, you shut up. Yeah.
I always heard that, like, we get comments of, like, you guys should stop talking. It's like, it's no reason.
Yeah, how dare you let us know what your thoughts are to this scene happening. Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to hear the episode. No.
You watch
the
episode.
It somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's free now. Like, we post our reactions, it's free. So, like, the stupidity of people.
Yeah, and kind of on the same tangent, like, people who would have, like, the episode footage take up the majority of the screen and then their face cam up in the corner. I'm just like, no, your reaction is supposed to be the forefront, not the background. And yeah. And I know Eruption Fang used to do that, and then I commented, I was like, hey, you know the community guidelines say, like, the episode footage has to be, like, less than 50% in size, and then he fixed it. But, or did he fix it? Did he go back to it?
Who?
Eruption Fang?
I think the guidelines, it just says, like, if you have it more than a certain percentage of the screen will monetize it. Like, I don't think that they, like, ban him entirely, but it's like, yeah, I think it was just like, you don't want your video to be claimed by us, you should probably have it small, or else we'll claim it. Like, I think that was their...
Yeah, because I have mine down to, like, 30% is usually where I keep it at. Man, I'm trying to, like, find where I had the... I used to have the community guidelines, like, screenshotted, but I cannot find them for the life of me right now.
But yeah, I think everything... like, hey, if you do this, we're gonna claim it. Not necessarily if you do this, we're gonna give you a copyright strike.
Oh, no, I don't think they were ever gonna strike people for doing that, but... Yeah, it was a Volume 6 one that I saw. Because I remember it was like, I was making like I discovered it by like making a video, by like clicking on people's reaction videos, by looking up like Ruby reactions, and I was kind of making a sarcastic video about the comments that Arnold called out, you know? And I was like, how dare we watch a thing? And I clicked on one of Eruption Fang's, and I was like, wait, where's the reaction? And I couldn't, like, find his face cam for a second. And then I was like, I should really cut this out. Like, I don't want to, like, feel like I'm calling out Eruption Fang for, like, doing that. But
we do it on the VYTALCast.
Yeah, because no one watches it.
It's like when Arnold's asleep, and I'm like, guys, quick. Because then I just delete my tweets, and he'll never find out.
Yeah. But yeah, Oh, there's like also like what's up with Penny like giving Tyrion a chance to surrender? Like I would have just shot the guy on spot.
Yeah.
I guess no that he murdered people. Don't surrender. Fucking kill him, Penny.
Also,
Yeah.
They kill Tyrion because it's like, see, Tyrion has the blood on the weapons. There's a scorpion puncture wound, and that guy like all been avoided if Penny had just killed him. Because people wouldn't have thought that he was a civilian in the crossfire. You can clearly see that he's sketchy as shit and probably has blood all over his scorpion tail or something. Like,
and not to mention 3 other people in that room, Ruby, Nora, and Ren, have history with him being like, no, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. They could all be like, hey, this is a bad dude.
And they're licensed hunters now, so they're like respectable to the Mantle and Atlas Society.
It's unfortunate just because like I think Tyrion was using his weapons the most of the time, so they wouldn't get caught on like a scorpion puncture wound. But I think like in general, people are so frazzled that they won't think, well, if Penny killed people, why doesn't she have any blood on her? Whereas Tyrion definitely probably has some blood on him, right? And so people think of stuff like that. But if Tyrion was, caught and they could have seen that, they would probably think more rationally in the alternate scenario where Penny, stabbed Tyrion and he was indisposed, for lack of a better word. But
how do you feel about, David, the idea of the believability of people being fooled by
I've heard this
Watson's...
speech before and I really have to use the bathroom. I'm sorry, so I'll leave you with Hunter.
What? Okay.
David Hunter podcast. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
How do you feel about the believability of it? Because some people call it into question of whether or not people fall for the doctored video.
For Penny doing the murder and all that.
The murder, yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like it could definitely be believable, but I could understand why people wouldn't want to believe that. But I think she's been caught on stage by enough people to all be like, it was her, because like there were a lot of non-Faunus people who wouldn't have the night vision to like tell exactly what was going on, and then next thing they see is Penny next to dead Fiona, well, almost dead Fiona, and Robin pointing a weapon at her, Yeah. So you go. No,
another part of that I always enjoyed, where the guys clutching on someone dying on the ground, they point up at Penny and they say it's Ironwood's robot, and I think that has a lot to do with like the negative, maybe perception that people have of Penny and Mantle.
I don't know what her perception was, but I know like just because like the connection to Ironwood, there must be a negative connotation there, and that's why people are more easy to believe it. Like, oh yeah, Ironwood's been screwing us over, which Robin has probably been, unintentionally spreading that bad message by being like, hey, Ironwood, he's taking away the resources, he's like not filling up the hole, like he's practically almost killing us, and then here's his robot being framed actually killing us. Like, people would make that logical jump.
And in all fairness,
because Robin seems, I don't know if you guys talked about this, Robin seems slightly surprised, but at the same time not really. She's sort of like, Penny, and then she's like, well, not, shocked but not surprised is what I would say. Like, she's shocked that it's, but is she surprised that it's Penny, considering that Ironwood is, like, that's how I feel like she probably.
Yeah. And, like, the whole thing of, like, Penny not being human might come into play again, because, like, there was the whole question in Volume 3, like, why would a robot need to look like a human girl? And this could be twisted into, like, oh, it's so people could trust it, and then it'll turn on them and assassinate them when the opportunity's right. So, yeah, there's a lot of different angles that could be going on with the whole Penny framing, and it's just unfortunate, too, because, like, Penny, we know is a good girl. Like, her giving Tyrion, an obvious monster, a chance to live and surrender is a sign of that.
Which is what I think is going to be painted at. But I saw a lot of people online talking about, like, no one would fall for this thing. Like, there wouldn't be widespread panic. Like, have you looked at all the things that people have fallen for?
Yeah. Like, well, there's also, like, Henry Cavill wearing glasses in front of the Superman poster, and people couldn't make the connection that he was the Superman on the poster right behind him. But also like witnesses during like a crime or a thievery, like because of how hectic everything was and how fast their mind was racing and the adrenaline shock, they don't always give accurate accounts to like what the person was wearing. So, with it changing from like Tyrion to Penny almost seems believable, especially when it's all dark and no one saw Tyrion. They just saw like a shadow and movement, and then lights are on. Penny
it was
has
probably
weapons up.
a lot darker for them compared to how we saw it, because they still need to show us so we can understand what's going on.
It's not like that.
It's not like Game of Thrones. They actually show us what's happening in the dark.
And I was like, Thrones? Yeah.
Listen, Game.
Hi, Hello Cat.
I am your biggest fan. Well, that's nice.
I wasn't aware I had fans. Thank you, Cat.
Where's the comment about there? Oh, what? How did you guys see that in the chat before me? I just watched it pop up.
Because I'm a narcissist, so when someone compliments me, I have an internal like spider sense, and I'm able to pick up on these moments.
Yeah. Also, Lee is like me last week. I have to pee. Yeah. Her bladder literally ended the episode last week, but.
Now me to carry the torch.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I understand. I don't know to what degree you want me to carry your torch.
But yeah. Also, Hunter, like I didn't notice that Watts was even making a video till right before VYTALCast when I caught the screenshot of him making that, and that's
uploaded it on the internet.
Yeah, because at first I was like, oh, he has like the footage and pictures of Tyrion and Penny up on his screen to be like, yes, we're like leading her to the stage, and like he was planning it. But then I saw the footage of Penny stabbing a civilian, throwing them, so I was like, oh, he's actually doing like live visual effects. He's basically being oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. The guy from Far From Home, the villain, Mysterio. He was basically being Mysterio, doing like real-time special effects. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like deep fake Penny.
Yeah, and deep. That's the other thing. I'm like, guys, don't you understand that this is a real thing that people like deep fakes? I mean, not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, photoshopping out of like. You know what I mean? He's basically almost like he green screened Penny with how perfect it is, but like I'll allow it. But the deep fakes thing is definitely like a legitimate
thing that's happening. Yeah.
I would have found it really funny that he had like if Tyrion had one of those mocap suits when he's killing all those.
That would be funny.
And so it's like makes it much easier.
Dude, you know what they could have done if he was wearing a mocap suit? On Carrie's profile, his banner is like him posing in a mocap suit. They totally could have recreated the photo with Tyrion in the mocap suit doing that. That would have been kind of a funny nod.
Yeah, here's my question is like, so nobody knows what's going on in Atlas right now because there's no external communication, which is probably for the best. But because it's up on the internet, like...
Is there an Atlas internet?
I'm assuming that the internet has been also restricted to your area, which doesn't necessarily... Yeah, I guess
also
so.
the tower connections,
Yeah.
I kind of figured that was like their internet/telephone service.
Yeah, so I'm sort of like, if... Like, could somebody, like, on a USB take that video to Penny and, like, try... You know what I mean?
Try to pirate it to the other side?
Try to pirate it to vacuum it. Like, I just wonder, like, how far are these incidents going to spread to people in the outside world? Because there is no CCTV connections anymore. So, anything. The only way that they know is if somebody, I assume, sent a letter because, you know, Ruby was able to send letters to her father and to Yang. And so, I only, like... somebody putting a USB in their computer, copying the Penny video, and sending it in the mail, and being like, "Alright, the vacuum headmaster,"
you know,
and like telling crazy shit.
What I hate is like you're like everything you're saying is just making me think of North Korea, and like people would send videos on USB on like balloons from South Korea into North Korea. And that's like the only way their citizens get any sort of media outside of their country and even learn about their country from the outside world. So it's like, I hate that. Like earlier in the stream, I was like, oh, Atlas is like America. Oh, now I'm making a comparison to North Korea. So
I'm like on chills. Oh boy, about that. That's just so like.
Yeah, Gosh. Oh, also like I this is the best screenshot I could get of Tyrion using his aura on his hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's his semblance or just like a universal use of aura?
I was torn on that because I thought the exact same thing you did. Because Ren does this thing where he
In Volume 1.
Yeah.
then pops the Grim, right? And so I was like, okay, Tyrion is putting his aura externally to like all in one crack her aura in a spot so he can kill her in that spot, because aura is basically like, you know, it covers everything, but I feel like it's like the ozone layer, you know what I mean? Like it's just a layer around your body and you can crack like a hole in it, and that's how he slashed her. Like that's what he seemed like he was doing. So I was like, I wonder if that is an aura technique that anyone could learn, but at the same time I feel like if anyone could do that, I feel like there wouldn't be the foreshadowing of you interest me, because his semblance is directly paralleled or contrasted to Jean's, and so I feel that would be better like writing wise, because if everyone could, what's the point, you know what I mean? If only Tyrion. The only other thing about that is like, in the RWBY companion book, Ilya has no semblance listed, Tyrion has no semblance listed, and so I feel like they're trying to balance out sort of the power dynamic with having a very, I don't want to say overpowered faunus trait, but having an overpowered faunus trait, but also having a semblance. Like I feel like that's why Ilya didn't have one, because it's like, how do we scale that? And maybe now they finally figured out how to do it, because my question would be like, why didn't Crow use that, or why didn't Tyrion use that before? Like he only used it now, which makes me think like, why
was it
like
maybe
what is happening,
semblance,
you know,
that he just kept on like screwing up his semblance?
Well, maybe his semblance could be like sensing others' aura levels, and then also being able to use that to his advantage, like focusing his, did I say aura? Wait, no, aura is the right word. I don't know why there's so many anime that like have the same thing but call it a different name, you know? It's like maybe he just,
when Tyrion using his chakra, no,
that was the moment in my head. I was like, wait, did I say aura or chakra? That was like what happened in my head. But it's like maybe he's able to focus it all into one spot, like just to like, oh, this person, they're at this level, so I need to focus this much amount of power to pop it, you know? Or like he's able to sense semblances and aura. I don't know. Like I'm trying to make some sort of connection to like what Cal said, and then like pointing out he saw Jean and was like, oh, but you do interest me.
But yeah, I'm sure it's a semblance, but I feel like aura functionally kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is like something that could be universally used, kind of like what Ren did in Volume 1 with
we've read the
aura.
all here, but in the Team Coffee book, Fox has some high-level aura techniques that anyone can learn, and that's the implication by Coco, is it's like everyone can learn how to sense people around them, you know, if they train hard enough. And so it seems like they're trying to bring back that sort of concept of aura power, like because what Ren did really we've never talked about or seen again, and they sort of abandoned that particular idea, whereas I don't know, maybe with Tyrion they would bring it back. But yeah, Ren just like pummeled some Grim with his bare hands, as the
he
chat
like exploded
saying.
their brain.
Yeah, and so I feel like we're far from that just because they haven't brought it back up again, but I don't know, with Tyrion it's possible, well, I guess.
Also, like Carrie said something during the RWBY RTX panel, like when they first explained like semblances and aura, they didn't quite explain it right, and therefore they're like withdrawing and like making sure they flesh out the rules more before they like reintroduce everything, something along those lines.
So maybe that's why they do it before.
Yeah, and like maybe now that they have like the full team, they could all like, okay, what, like how can we best show this and like have it consistent, and now like Tyrion doing this is like the fruits of that, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm sure they'll just do a semblance because that makes more sense, like writing wise. But
yeah.
Yeah,
and then there's beautiful Penny being on neon green.
At first, I didn't know how I felt about Penny's design. Her original design, I was never crazy about. Her new design, I'm like, now I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I love her new design more than I love her original design.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel
like that green is a good color. Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, for me, it's the hair. Like, the hair is, like, what sells it. And breaks her original look for me. But, yeah. Then we have Robin being all grizzly and mean.
I what was like Ruby was trying to protect Fiona, and then Robin just went, "What?" Like it was.
Did I get that screenshot? Oh man, I thought I had that screenshotted, but I almost screenshotted that moment.
We'll never.
I think it was like too much of a smear frame that I was like, I can't use this without, like, it just looked dumb. Like, it's hard on the RT site to go frame by frame. And I didn't have time to, like, actually go frame by frame with the file that I have. So.
But yeah, it was just, I love that part where she just shoves Ruby on. Like.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. And Ruby's like, wait, no, we gotta, like, yeah.
So that they did not have to tell us
Anyway, no.
That'll be the fan fiction you write.
Yeah, hold on. I need to see, like, I think I might have to make a 4th slideshow thing, and so help me if I have to. I do. Because I was like, where's the... I do have that screenshot. Hold on. Let me make a 4th image slideshow. Because I do actually have the frame where he... Did you guys just look and nod at each other like, yeah, he does have to? I saw that.
I don't know what that nod was meant to communicate. I just looked over. Cal was looking at me.
It's just like, you good, Hunter? And like Hunter's like, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Because if you guys are like, hey, we gotta go, David, like, shut up, then, like, let me know. Because I will gladly.
Believe me, word of it.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, we'll have you for the next little... Peters.
That's
back.
Tomorrow.
So.
You have you have a sleep, and then you wake up and we wait.
Hopefully, unless they.
Dude, I have to be up at 6 in the morning because work is like, hey, you got another 10-hour shift on a Saturday. So right after VYTALCast, I'm muting anything Ruby related on Twitter and then trying to stay off my phone until like 3 p.m. when I watch the episode. We're just gonna
distract ourselves until they call saying the computer is fixed. And...
Yeah. Oh, there's the screenshot of oh, I forgot it's on automatic slide. But one of the slides it goes through is Ruby being shoved by Robin, but...
That's good.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not messing with hotkeys again. I ran out of keys to hotkey with, so... Which is why a Stream Deck is on the donation goal, because that would fix my hotkey problem.
But yeah, I really like Marrow's sort of, it's not us, I swear, because that's where, like, I had, like, is he sketchy, is he not sketchy, but you really tell, and I think Hunter said this, like, he really does seem genuine at the very end of everything, you know what I mean? And even the that he's making and stuff like that, like, I feel like, and I loved him using a semblance, and I know that this has been, like, a big debated thing, but I'm like, why didn't he use a semblance earlier if he's not evil? And so I would like to see the around that, like, does he need to be able to see the person? Does the person need to be directly in front of him? Because it's like, first of all, there was the whole debate, like, can Marrow see in the dark? Because if he can't, sketchy as fuck. And that was, like, the first thing.
Because they never said all faunus can see in the dark. They said most faunus.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, he could just not see in the dark.
Also, like, with his semblance, I've noticed, like, in this scene and then the scene with that Grimm, in both times, the target was looking at him, like, giving him their attention. So I wonder if that's, like, another factor.
Because that's what I was... It's like, we need to know the rules, because if the rules are one way, that makes him sketchy, and if the rules are another way, that puts him in the clear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it is just plot contrived, like, whatever it is, they just didn't want to make Marrow do that, even though he probably could have done that. Like,
they could have even had Tyrion attack Marrow, and him was like, you know...
I wish we just saw more of what he was doing if he's not evil, because if he is evil, it makes sense that they would sort of hide what he's doing from us, but if he's not, it's nice to sort of flash to him and see, like, is he confused?
Like,
is he
we
scared?
See an attempt,
Try someone that's like, has he been trampled? Like, they should have maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Hold on, what was I think someone tried to make a comment about it. I don't know. There's like a lot of comments I'm trying to catch up on, but I don't think
Hunter's
anyone.
So
I mean, I don't.
turned the
At
stream
this
off.
point, it's like I'll survive the
I don't
10
want-
minutes.
Oh
Hunter
no,
to get-
no! Like we could end the stream because, like I said, I have to be at work at 6 a.m. So I have to get up.
What we were seeing the chat.
So an
on,
easy
I'm
to
not
miss
sure.
detail is near the end when Ruby reaches out
To
to
Penny.
Penny.
She stops when she realized she has blood all over her hands.
Yes.
Oh
that's
yeah.
I realized until after.
Yeah,
I
that was a
watched
really nice. They've been so good with background facial expressions. You know what I mean? Like people that aren't necessarily in the forefront of a scene, but are reacting like in the really further background. Like I feel like they've been doing a good job. Like Penny or Ruby realizing like, oh shit, wipe that
it.
that off. My
My
outfit's
new
red.
It'll
Oh,
blend
it's
with
okay.
my skirt. Yeah. Yeah, that I think I remember seeing that my first watch through, but because when I was grabbing screenshots on this, I had the episode paused and I was just like skimming through frames that I missed that for the screenshot. But I remember seeing the blood on her hands. I'm like, oh wow, because it's also like blood for me is more noticeable in Ruby because it's not shown very often. So when it is shown, I'm like, oh, that's
There's a
there.
lot of blood.
It was genuinely shocking. I feel like whenever Ruby has truly felt like above a kid, like they've ever gone
Like
gruesome,
when
they've ever
Jacques swore like twice in 2 chapters
Yeah.
ago. I was like,
or like when Tyrion called Ruby a bitch in Volume 4,
yeah, I was
or like a lot
Am I
Yeah.
Ruby? Yeah.
in Minecraft server.
Yeah.
was-
This is a
really
Christian show.
shocked.
Yeah.
It was really shocking and really upsetting, and the fact that it's so rare and it's not overdone made it all the more impactful. I felt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree. Because like in some shows like Elfin Lied, you see so much blood and gore
Oh.
that like it no longer becomes shocking at some point.
People lose arms like it's their car
Dude,
keys.
you see
like,
a
it just
rib cage go flying against a wall for crying out loud. Like,
I
yeah.
mean,
or like it's like Mortal Kombat or any like really violent thing, it just becomes meaningless. But like if you use violence like sparingly, it becomes all the more shocking.
Like
Yeah.
in Skate 3, breaking your leg, really cringy and harmful, but then Mortal Kombat, you just don't even flinch. But
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, we could end VYTALcast with those last few thoughts since I gotta go to bed.
Violence.
What?
They did violence well. How about this as an
Yeah.
ending thought?
Okay.
When it comes to Ruby, where does this land for you? Because like personally, this felt like a 10 out of 10 episode. Like
Oh,
I had every.
it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. 10 out of 10. I agree. Like I made a story post on Instagram where I tagged Eddie and Carrie and Miles, and I was like, this episode totally wrecked me and gave me everything I wanted at the same time. 10 out of 10. Please do it again next week.
I thought that was.
Yeah. I loved it. They gave us the extremes of both worlds, and I don't think we've had that in an episode with Ruby before. So
Yeah.
I feel like just generally speaking, like Volume 6 and Volume 7 have been so excellent.
Yeah.
And I know people have feelings on 4 and 5. I generally feel like
I think 7 has just
I've
changed.
warmed
Like
up to
it's
them a
up
lot,
the
but
game. I don't
yeah.
know how to explain
Yeah,
it.
seven has just changed the game, and with this episode, I'm confident that it's gonna rank higher than 6, and it may not even feel like a competition by the end of the volume.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about this episode, everyone was like, the runtime's only 14 minutes. Like, that was the longest 14 minutes
Yes,
of
in
my
my life.
goddamn
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, especially with like seeing the poll numbers change. Who subscribed? There was an alert, but no one. The alert broke. It only showed Ruby, but it didn't say who subscribed. Oh, That's Canny donated $5. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
not 5 yen or
Oh,
something
God.
like that.
Oh.
Shit's American dollars.
Hal
Yeah.
got 100. It was like $100.
$100. Oh. Yeah, Davey forgot the thirsty moms. I never forgot the thirsty moms. They just weren't in this episode.
Thought some of the thirsty moms died in the audience.
Why would you
When
wish that? Those kids are probably going to be orphans now. Like, their father figure's not in the picture. Why else would their mom be thirsting over a guy?
Why John has to be all of their new dads.
Oh my god. Comparison, like, obviously they reuse like the same 5 models throughout the crowd. Okay, like,
that one pair of like leggings are really popular.
But you know, when you sort of look at them, they're exactly the same color because they've mixed up the colorization to make it look like they're all different people, right? But when you look at it's literally like the gray hair mom, like they're dead. Oops, like that's
Thirsty moms are thirsty no more.
Yeah, we used to have shadow people. Now we have clone people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but yeah, we could end VYTALCast now. But also, I want to announce that next week, VYTALCast will be switched to 9 p.m. Central, and on Saturday. No, did I say 9 p.m.? I meant 9 a.m. Central. So like an hour before the Ruby episode comes out, and Dashi Lee will be our guest. And I guess VYTALCast might switch to be like a pre-episode show, I guess. Also, so we're not competing with a much larger channel in the same time slot. Because, like, yeah, I'm not throwing shade. Like, it's just like like, people could only watch one thing at a time. And, like, no one's doing that time slot. So I'm jumping over there. So,
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. Yeah. And I figure people will be awake for Ruby, so it should be fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And also, Hunter, it was great to actually talk to you for once.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'll tell you that it's fine.
Yeah. And I feel like Hunter and I connected on a spiritual level with sharing the same brain cell. Yeah. 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 But yeah, I agree with That's Kenny. Time slots are frustrating sometimes. So, yeah. Because I know, like, sometimes the Boopcast or Corners of Remnant will overlap as well. So it's just, like, no one other than, like, Xiaolong that I've noticed is doing Saturday. And I don't want to overlap Xiaolong. So, before the episode. Yeah.
We're doing Saturday, not this week, but we're doing Saturday after the episode, but we're not really doing a stream. Like, we're just doing our analysis videos, but like, that makes sense. And so
that makes sense.
A big deal, you know, like
not as much group interaction as like a regular stream.
Yeah,
I also like this. Like, this screaming schedule ain't big enough for the two of us. You better get out of this town.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Hasn't Vex also been doing Saturday streams? Like I said, out of the people I've noticed, you know, there could definitely be 100 other people that are live streaming on Saturday. I just haven't noticed. So, yeah. Anyway, with that, we'll end. Go subscribe to Cal and of course Hunter because they share the same channel, and yeah, and subscribe to me if you haven't. I don't know. I think everyone in the chat subscribed to me, but this is for like people watching after the show. So yeah. All right. Bye.